Hey guys, Steve Tony here, and I am back with a new video. Before I get started, I just wanted to wish everyone a happy belated Thanksgiving. Hope anyone who did celebrate had a good and fun time. And without further ado, here's the video. I'll be going over the first time watches I did for this year's Spagvember Fest. Uh, wasn't as many as I was initially aiming for, but I still found them sufficient viewing material and enjoyed them quite a bit. So, yes, without further ado, let's get going. Okay, now the first new watch was this title here, Death Sentence. This has been a long time coming on Blu-ray. This release, it's considered a pretty good alternative top 20 list western, which I do agree with. It is very well done. Basically, it's an anthology esque film. The lead character, Cash, played by this fella here, Robin Clark. His brother is murdered by four men. Let's see, these guys here, Richard Conti, Enrico Maria Salerno, Thomas Millian, and Adolfo Selli. So yes, basically, Robin Clark's character Cash goes around finding these guys, and then ends up having it out with them in these very uniquely, very uniquely different duels. It's a well put together western. I enjoyed it for what it was a lot. The director, let's see, Mario Lanfranchi, he had a bit more experience in the sort of more artistic style film, but he puts it to great use here. It's a very well done piece, very well paced and all that. And Conti's the first guy Clark goes after. He trails him to this border town between the States and Mexico, and he ends up chasing him into a desert where it's a sort of cat and mouse game of who will break and wanting water, which is played up pretty interestingly. Salerno is a professional gambler whom Clark's Cash raises stakes in a game to where it's their lives. That's a really good psychological base scene of trying to outpsych each other. Selly's the next man. He's a sort of like false preacher in this one. Claims to be a man of of God. And it's actually weird, how Cash, gets the drop on him, but it does work. And of course, Melian is the last of the four encountered, and he gives this really wild performance as an albino man who suffers from epilepsy. See, yeah, it's it's a really interesting and well done entry. Sort of a forgotten gem of the genre, and one I do recommend checking out. Robin Clark is really interesting in the film. Sometimes his choices may not make the most sense, but given the tragedy, he suffered, in a flashback, back like before the film like really gets going. Um, you can kind of get it, but and like at the same time, it's sort of like he's like thinking really isn't all that yap. But otherwise, how he gets everybody, how he confronts them is all really good, and yeah, is a really fun middle of the road western that I highly I recommend to anyone who's a fan. So yes, that is Death Sentence, and I should mention that all of the titles I'll be showing you here were gifts from my buddy Carlos, Eastwood for Life fan. And again, many thanks again, Carlos, for helping me with these titles. I'll leave a link to his channel below there. So yes, that is Death Sentence. Okay. Next is okay. Well, let me see if I can see the Italian title here. Il Vendatore da Morte. I'm actually blanking on what the English title of the film is, but this is actually a sequel of sorts to a film made in 1967, another Western called Killer Caliber 32, featuring the same character, Silver, as in this film, but in the previous entry, he was played by Peter Lee Lawrence. Here he's played by Johnny Garco. And basically what this is a Western detective story. Basically this guy named Chester Conway, played by everybody's favorite crazed German actor Klaus Kinski. He's found with money that was stolen from a bank. He claims he has no idea it's stolen, is thrown in jail, and his lawyer convinces bounty hunter slash mystery solver Silver, played by Garco, to help prove Conway's innocence. But while his guilt in the case at hand is in doubt, he may in fact have something else going on that might change everything. Like the last one was pretty entertaining. I gotta say, quite fun. It came out, I believe. Let's see. I'm not seeing the year here. Like even with the glare. So let's see. I believe it came out in 1971. Right about the time the genre like was kind of leaning more towards the comedy style western. But yeah, I like that's like a pretty well paced film. There's a little more emphasis on the mystery aspect. As Gargo's got to find out if Kinski's character is really guilty of this crime or not. But it's done in a very entertaining way. I mean, there's loads and loads of suspects to choose from, and everybody has a reason for either directly framing Kinski or letting him get framed. Including a preacher who's a little on the fanatical side, a prominent citizen who's also a banker, a married man, and and several others. The few shots there are done very well too, and of course, Garco is at his smoothest as the debonair Silver, who's very, charming and dandyish, but is no less skilled with a gun, and proves it thoroughly several times. Yeah, probably not, top 10 or top 20 quality, but still a fun watch. If you're looking for something like not too heavy, but still has a good substance and pull to it. You'll definitely have a lot of fun with this entry. So yes, that is Il Vendatore da Morte. Okay, and next is Shango, aka Shango the Infallible Gun. Like this one came out a year prior to the previous film I talked about in 1970. And again is is a really good, serious, toned and plotted western for a time when the genre was kind of changing for the not so much worse, but the comedy elements really didn't do it justice in the long run. But this film was also co-written by star Anthony Steffen, and his story and script isn't too bad. I have to say, he plays a Texas Ranger named Shango, who's been hired by the Army to help filter out these Confederate renegades who've barricaded themselves in this border town between one of the southern states in Mexico, and basically the unit he's escorting is attacked and massacred. He's locked up, and the Confederates, as well as this band of banditos, have the town in utter terror and held hostage. And basically, Shango's kind of in a no-win situation and being able to end the situation without violence, and it just leads to all sorts of stuff. Yeah, it's a very different role for Stefan. he's not really a pacifist in the film, but he is, I'm sick of what the war, has done to everybody, and just doesn't want to keep doing it. But but the guys, he's dealing with, are crazy and loony. So he's got, no other option really but to kind of stop him by violence. And Eduardo Fajardo, whom Stefan made a lot of films with, he is very good in his role as the Confederate major here, whose name is let's see if it kind of mentions here. If it does, let's see. He plays Major Draster in this. Yeah, he's sort of a quasi poor man's Major Jackson from Django, which Fajardo also played, but he's still cool for different reasons. He's the atypical "the South shall rise again" type, like who just refuses to believe the war is over. Like he's got every intent to make like the South strong again through holding this village. And it's just all sorts of craziness, like really good craziness. Yeah. What's really interesting about the film is that it's sort of shot on a shoestring budget. There's little indoor scenes except for a brief one where Fajardo's in a office style room, and Stefan confronts him. But the film mainly takes place outdoors or in settings that kind of have both an indoor and an outdoor setup. But it actually does help the film. Like it gives it this gritty and realistic look, which is what Stefan and Eduardo Eduardo Malagria we're looking for. It's not the most polished, like in certain scenes involving the villagers may seem a little not wooden, but slightly stiff. It's still pretty good though. I mean, for as kind of gritty and somewhat dark as it is, it's still a very entertaining piece and a very well welcomed difference to the slowly comedy rise that was going on at the time the film came out. So yes, a very much recommended title, Shango. Okay, and last but not least is Ben and Charlie, starring Juliana Gemma and George Eastman. This is a quasi-comedy western. I would say it's not pure full on comedy, but it's got some good lightheartedness, throughout. It does get serious point, and is done pretty well too. Basically, Gemma and Eastman play these two rogues who try for get rich quick schemes that always seem to blow up in their faces, and they end up getting involved with these three pretty nasty hombres, and they end up with a whole lot of gold and money from a bank that they now have to protect from the three psychopaths. And yeah, it's actually quite good. I was pleasantly surprised. I was recommended that's a few times by other genre enthusiasts, but was kind of iffy as it did have a pretty comic feel, but it's not like Trinity funny or or Goofy funny. It's more like situation humor, which I do like a lot, and it does make the film flow pretty good. Jem is great in it. He gets to be a lot more on the comic side of things. Over his usual likable, smart-ass style of character. And and yeah, he does a fantastic job. I do like Georgie Eastman. I mean, I've never been a big fan like some people are of him, especially with his horror films. But he does really but he does really well as the straight man here to Gemma's comic guy. He kind he kind of evens it out well with his style. And it nicely contrasts the absurdity of every situation they end up in, and also in the cast, our regulars, Aldo Sambrell as a sheriff, Nalo Pacifini as one of the three psycho outlaws. Let's see who else. Roberto Camarillo plays another sheriff. A surprisingly fun, good time. What's cool about this Blu-ray media book release is that it has two Blu-rays of the film. It's got the longer international cut and the slightly shorter Italian cut. And I ended up watching both of the cuts. I had a time spotting, a real difference. Maybe it was just minor cuts I missed. But it's still a very, cool watch either version. I will say though that unfortunately the Italian shorter cut doesn't have English subtitles the way the international cut does, but it does kind of makes sense to have them on separate discs, as they are different for whatever reason they are. Are so. Uh, uh, so yeah, if y'all looking for something that's different, has a light touch to it, but also has many of the traditional elements to the western. Uh, Don and Charlie is a good way to go. And yeah, that will do it for this video. I do hope like you all enjoyed. If you have any questions, if like you've seen the films, did you like them? Did you not? Were you made curious to check out any of the films with the video? Oh, like what other titles would you recommend I check out if haven't seen them yet? Yeah, and yeah, just like and yeah, just whatever is on your mind regarding the films. Please let me know in the comments. Yeah, and yeah, please give this video a thumbs up. It always does help out the channel. And if you haven't already and would like to, please hit that subscribe button and bell notification button for more content like this. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye.